what's going on, everybody? We are back with another championship episode, conference championship episode of Pickin 6. I am joined by AG of Men of Order Media. AG, what's going on? Welcome to the show. We're going to break down these games and get out of here. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good to me. How we doing, Ty? Good to be back. It's been a little while since we've been able to connect on these, just because our scheduling differences and things like that. For obviously you guys don't know, but Ty's been hitting me up every week, like, "Yo, how about this night?" And I'm like, damn, I'm at work already. So we finally are able to get one in. So I'm excited. It's a good one to do anyway for championship week. Much better than the random week 10 games and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be here. Happy to be here.
Hey, listen, only 2 games. We got plenty of fun. So let's not waste any time and jump right into it with the Eagles minus 2.5 in South Philly against the Niners, over under 46.5. I know there's a lot of angles here. It's like, oh, how are the Niners underdogs? Or Philly's at home, for a playoff game, a home playoff game. There's a lot of little intangible angles there. That I think that this line, whether it's Eagles or the Niners favored, is where it should be at that 2.5. I don't think you take over a field goal here because you have to get people playing both sides. I think if it goes too far the Eagles' direction, you got the whole market on the Niners. That's my opinion. But I want to know what you have to think here.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're giving me a chance to take the 49ers as dogs in this situation. So I kind of like it based on that. But obviously that is because the Eagles are at the link, and we know how the link can get. And especially for a conference championship game, It's been a couple years since we've seen it. But, I mean, you can imagine. You know what I mean? It's been a little while, but you can imagine how erupted they're going to be in that crowd, right? So the 49ers, they would be favorites if they were at home. This is what that line tells us, because you're getting 3 points for being at home. So they would be a pick 'em, but they would be the favorite of the pick 'em. Look, I think the 49ers are the most complete team that we have left in these playoffs right now. But that's not to say that the Eagles haven't been the most consistent team all season long. So you can't take anything away from them. You could argue that the 49ers and Bengals have been the more consistent team in the back half of the season. But the entire season, you can't knock the Eagles. They've been playing amazingly. I think I like the Niners in this one. I'm going to take the points at plus 2.5 just in case. And the reason for that is, I won't go money line just because, it's a little scary with them being at the link. I know how crazy the link is going to get. I'm out here in Jersey, about the halfway point between like Philly and New York, things like that. So, I know how it can get down in Philly. I know how it's going to be.
Listen,
so that worries me a little bit. But I think the Niners are just more complete. They're every single angle. It's going to take a perfect game from the Eagles. That game they played last week against the Giants, they didn't need to put their best foot forward. The Giants kind of came and laid an egg. They didn't play their best football that we've been seeing all season long. So I don't know. It's going to take a perfect game for the Eagles to be able to do anything with this defense.
I think the Eagles have that perfect game in the bag, if we're being honest, because of what playing the San Francisco 49ers demands of a team like the Eagles. I feel like because
I can see it.
Yeah, because the Eagles are a good team, and my thing is the NFL is it's a 17-game season. You got to make sure that all your guys are there at the end. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that not everybody's not going hard. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you play smart football throughout the season, so that you know what I mean?
Well, and to that point, I mean, the Eagles are pretty healthy. There's nobody that we're really worried about. Jalen Hurts proved that, he looks fine last weekend. And the 49ers, obviously, they're on their third quarterback. Yes, He's been playing amazingly, but that's the other thing that scares me that I didn't mention is Brock Purdy. He hasn't had that rookie game yet.
Yeah, I know.
He's just messing up. So it's for his sake, if it is going to happen for his sake, I would hope it's this week and they just lose and whatever. I hope it's not he plays lights out this week and then crashes in the Super Bowl for his sake. That would suck. But
if you were him, you'd rather end the ride now because nobody would be mad at you.
Yeah, not as many people watching, things like that. I'm just saying if it gets ugly, if it's one of those ugly rookie games. We see it all the time. We haven't seen it from him yet, which is scary as a back in the 49ers. But the other point I was going to make is Eli Mitchell and CMC are both banged up. They haven't been practicing all week. I'm sure they're going to play. They're not going to sit out or anything, but they haven't practiced all week.
Yeah.
So that's a good point you're making. The
I
Eagles
think the
coming
only
in very healthy.
benefit for Brock Purdy is that Kyle Shanahan is the head coach, and he has that offense running like it's a kind of a plug and play kind of offense because of how well he runs that squad.
That's
But
why
I'm
it's
just
worked
saying,
so well.
exactly, it's why it works. And I think this when it comes to Philly, I think that like South Philly's going to be rocking. These fans are going to be tailgating as soon as whatever time the parking lot opens. I guarantee you it'll be full.
And if it's not open, they will find a way
Yeah,
to open it up.
Literally, people would try find the cheat code. You know, as the lacrosse guy of the group. So the Eagles game started at 7:30. It was supposed to go 8:15, right? So they're going to open the lots like 1-2 o'clock. But the Philly Wings indoor lacrosse team was supposed to play at 7 that night. They moved their game down to 1. So people were like, oh, if you buy a ticket to the Wings, because obviously all the stadiums are next to each other, you can be in Wells Fargo parking lot at 8 a.m. and then be right there at the link. So some people were drinking for 12 hours for that game. I guarantee you some people will drink the night before, walk out of the bar, go right to the tailgate the next morning. But I think it's going to be a great game. I'm taking Eagles money line minus 152. I'm willing to lay the juice, in this scenario because I'm not fading the birds. Can't do it, but I'm willing to give, San Francisco that, obviously it's going to be a close game. I say it might come down to a field goal in either direction, or I think it's either a field goal in either direction or Philly beats the brakes off the Niners.
Ooh, okay, that's pretty bold. I mean, I agree with the first part of that, but
Because
I don't know if I see a world where they beat the brakes off of them.
I'm looking for that rookie game. However, I'm looking for that rookie game, and I know that's bold, but also like we know that the Niners were down at half to the Seahawks and boat raced them second half. So I'm not like I said, I'm not just say, oh, it's the Niners, might as well hand us the Super Bowl spot now. Like I am fully understanding the Niners can get it done. So if Eagles don't show, I'm saying if the Eagles play that perfect game, it's either a field goal either way or a boat race. But if they don't, then it's whatever Brock Purdy wants to do.
I have trouble seeing a boat race, but I definitely hear you though, and I agree with you taking the money line because I mean it could come down to
the money line is a safe play.
It could come down to them winning by 1 on a field goal.
I'm erring on the field goal apiece part, not the somebody wins by a lot part. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah, well that's the same answer. That's the same reason I'm going 2.5 instead of the money line. Obviously, the money line is juicy in this situation if I'm on the 49ers. But just in case, I'm going to take that 2.5 points because it could very well come down to Jake Elliott nailing a field goal for the win to win by 1, win by 2, something like that. So
before we move on, I like Jalen Hurts is a plus money right now for a touchdown. So definitely taking that plus 125. Book that. And AJ Brown didn't find the end zone, I don't believe, last week. So look, I think we should look for him again this week.
Yeah, those are my two I hear you on that
for this week on that game.
I have a couple player props that I have thought about, but I haven't finalized my thoughts yet. I definitely want to do some more digging tomorrow morning.
Those are just my two for right now.
My player props that I'm going to give out my player props tomorrow on the Men of Order channel. So those will be out. We're doing the show about 1 p.m. Eastern, so about 2 hours before kickoff. So that's when I'll give out my my player props. I got some stuff in my head, but I want to think and I want to pick and choose some extra things.
Yeah, I got more up here too, but I just want those are the two just by looking that I like without even really thinking, like without doing too much thinking. Those two to score is like for me easy.
I hear you. Yeah, and on this over 46.5, I feel like that's a little high. I'm not willing to take an under. Yeah, I'm not willing to take it.
I'm not willing to either in a game like this, but I would lean under.
Yeah, but I'm definitely not taking the over.
Yeah.
Maybe even juicing it up if I end up building a parlay or something. Maybe juicing it up, taking under 54 maybe or something. Yeah. But 46.5, I mean, that looks a little high. I don't know.
Yeah, with Nick Bosa on one side of the ball and the way the Eagles defense has been playing this year, I think defense could control tempo here. It's just a matter of if it actually happens. You know what I mean? The defenses have the capacity and the skill to control tempo, but obviously the offenses can do the exact same thing. But yeah, so Adams on Niners plus 2.5. I like Eagles money line. Give me Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown to find the end zone, and let's move right on to.
Oh, I will say, off the top of my head, since we're doing just top of the head,
okay,
Deebo Samuel for a touchdown. He's very due. He's very due. I don't know what his odds are yet. I didn't look fully, but
I will give you that right now.
Yeah, dude, Debo Samuel.
Debo's plus 170, so that's
yeah. See, I'm probably gonna lock
juice.
that in personally, at least with my account,
Yeah.
because I just feel like he's due. He hasn't scored in a couple weeks, so they're gonna be looking to get him the ball. This is a game where big time players got to show up, and Debo is definitely that, especially for his boy Brock Purdy. So I feel like they're gonna go to Debo a lot with like quick screens, those little end around plays.
He can get yards. He can
get the ball out of Purdy's hands, let him rock. Because there's that Eagles pass rush is legit. So no, I think that's the way they'll play it, especially down in the red zone. Teams are getting used to just Christian McCaffrey up the middle for the touchdown. They're going to have to get creative and do a little sweep with Debo Samuel for a touchdown, I think.
Yeah, bro. I love it. I love it a lot. This is the game that I was most excited about, but we can't not talk about the other side. Chiefs minus 1.5 against Cincinnati Bengals in Kansas City. Over under is 48. Do we see a repeat of last year, or is Pat Mahomes going back to Super Bowl? What do we think?
Man, I mean, it's crazy. It's hard to imagine that you got Joe Burrow and the Bengals beating out the Chiefs. Patty Mahomes, how storied the Chiefs have been the last 5, 6, 7 years. So it's hard to imagine that that'll happen. But I don't know. It kind of looks like it could be that way. You know what I mean? And Joe Burrow seems very comfortable. Did you see his quote about the SEC stadiums?
Oh no! What
so they were asking him about the volume in KC and the atmosphere in KC,
well, he
and he was
Tiger Stadium.
He goes, "Listen, we played in the SEC, man. The SEC really helps with that." He said pretty much every SEC stadium gets louder than any of these NFL stadiums.
That's totally fair. So very true.
Yeah, I figured that's some good info for you. Yeah, no, I mean, dude, honestly, this is a tough one. This is a pick 'em for me. I'm interested to hear what you have to think.
I also think once again, I don't want to say this number's too high on the over-under, but I feel like, they're all trying to get us in the mindset that this is going to be an absolute shootout. You know what I mean? And I don't think that their last matchup in the playoffs last year was ridiculously high scoring, if I had to remember.
I think it was pretty tight.
Let me see. I can tell you right now.
I know that the game this year was 27-24.
27-24.
That was this year's game, the regular season game this year. So that game was
last year. It was 27-24 again last year.
Okay, so that that hits the over both times on this number. But
so
now we're dealing with trends, so we got to see. But
I'm going to stay away from that because it's going to be right around.
I think I like this over better than I like the other games over.
That's very true.
But I'm still with you. I don't really bet over-unders too often anyway, unless I'm putting it in a parlay and I'm changing the number a little bit. But I think I'll be more confident taking it over in this game than the other one.
But yeah, I think as far as a side, I feel like just based off the fact that the Bengals are getting a point, it could be, like I said, a field goal either way. I think if either team runs away with it, I feel like it might just be the Chiefs overwhelming the Bengals. Because the Chiefs have that potential to drop 40 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But they also have the potential to not play any defense. So there's that.
Well, here's the thing. So I actually forgot to mention this in the other game, but one of the other reasons I like the 49ers that I forgot to mention was that they've been there before. A lot of those guys on the team were just in that championship game last year. For the Eagles, it's not the same. But in this game, both of them have been there before last year.
In the same game.
The Chiefs have been there a few times, a lot of those players. Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl, the big game. Bengals been to the big game. Some of those 49ers players have been to the big game too a couple of years ago. So, but this one's interesting. I feel like the Bengals are the more complete team, but the Chiefs have the firepower to if the Bengals aren't performing at their top notch, the Chiefs could run away with this thing.
I think the Bengals, because of them being more complete, has more of a chance to keep pace with the Chiefs offense because of the Chiefs defense is kind of lacking when they were, I would say 2, 3, 4, when they played Tom Brady is when their defense was supposedly better. And then it ended up not mattering, but now it's they're a lot younger than they were. At that point the Chiefs defense was a little older. A lot of them have since retired or gone elsewhere. So I think I think honestly the X factor though for the Chiefs always is Andy Reid.
Well, I was gonna say they got better coaching too. Yep.
Yeah, that is the X factor. It's Andy Reid.
You can definitely factor that in. Yep.
Honestly, of all these things, my favorite bet is not a side or an over-under. It is quite simply Isaiah Pacheco over rushing yards because he cashes that. He's 4 out of the last 5 on his rushing total. Shout out OzJam. He's been cashing. So that's my favorite pick of the whole thing. Also, you can never. I mean, Travis Kelce's to score a touchdown is obviously practically free money. So those are my 2 things I like the most. And then you can't deny a Jamar Chase touchdown here and there.
But I was going to say that next if you didn't actually.
Yeah, you can't deny.
I was going to say, what about Jamar Chase?
Yeah. You can't deny a Jamar Chase touchdown. I think as long as as long as Burrow's pocket holds up, they're going to keep it close. So I want to after this roundabout way of talking, I think I like the Bengals.
Yeah, see, I was curious where you were going to end up on that, if we were going to end up on other sides or not. But I kind of like the Bengals too. But something's holding me back about Patty Mahomes just doesn't overcome his kryptonite here. Well, it's not even that, but Burrow, he hasn't beat Burrow yet. Burrow hasn't lost to the Chiefs. So, even in regular season and things like that, I just feel like, can anybody really have Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs' number that good where they can consistently beat them?
Yeah, not many teams that you can say can I think not any other team except for the Bengals can say that.
Yeah, a lot of things point to the Bengals for me. So I think that's where I'm going to end up sitting. But right now it's a toss-up in my head, man. I got to do some more digging and think about it some more today.
Lean at most.
Because exactly. Yep. I will say if it ends up being the Bengals and the Niners, it's going to be funny because on Men of Order last year around divisional playoff time, or I think wild card round, one of those weeks, we came on our show and it wasn't me, but it was my boy Ant who works with us too. But he came out and he predicted Bengals versus 49ers, and we were one dropped interception from the 49ers away from that being a reality. So if it happens this year, we're just ahead of the game. I hope it happens so I can be like, hey, we just didn't know how far in the future we were. This is why you got to come talk to us. But
speaking of that, they do FanDuel, and I'm sure many other sports books as well are offering that Super Bowl matchup, and then you could say the actual correct outcome.
Who wins it? Yeah, exactly.
So if you were, so Bengals.
If I were to go that route, I'm probably taking the Bengals to win it because Joe Burrow is going to get his if he gets back, I think.
Yeah, I think that Matt Stafford had his shot. He got his one. You know what I mean? He can retire a complete man and have an outside shot at the Hall of Fame now ish because of what he did in Detroit and having a Super Bowl on his name now. Yep. So now it's. Listen, I don't know about you, but I love the fact that when you and I grew up, it was Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, all those boys, and now it's all this young blood. But I'm just saying, Philadelphia to beat these teams is good odds. The longest odds is the Bengals to beat the Niners at plus 750. So I'm just saying.
Wow, so the one I picked right there is yeah.
That's the longest odds of all of them. The rest are plus 600 to 500.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the first times I've seen, and obviously we're not that old yet. We've only been betting for a little bit, not a couple years, 4 or 5 years, right? Where we've been actually paying attention and looking at odds and things like that, watching games. This has been the first time that I've seen the Super Bowl be so close. Even the straight up Super Bowl odds right now, they're all right in a little box. Usually there's a clear favorite. So it's interesting. That proves that these 2 games here are toss ups. We're sitting on the fence on both of them. We made our picks, but we can see it going the other way too. Both of us.
It also proves that these are the teams that are meant to be here.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. Is that we love an 8-8 Giants. I hate the Giants, so we love an 8-8 Giants making it here and there. But I think that these are the 4 teams that have proven to be the best in the NFL at this point in the season. It's going to be great. South is going to be rocking. They'll probably show up in KC. I mean, I know they do these days.
Oh yeah.
But AG, I appreciate you showing up.
Appreciate you having me, bro.
Great to have you. I just want to thank everybody for showing up. Who's going to watch this? When this drops, I want to make sure that everybody likes, comments, and subscribes. Shout out to Men of Order. Go check out their stuff. menoforder.com and at Men of Order on Twitter and Men of Order Sports. AG's baby.
Yes, sir. I'll be back. I will be right on there tomorrow morning to talk some more about this stuff. Ty, if you're available, feel free to hop on, man. Let me know. Shoot me a text. I'll get you the link and everything too.
Word sounds
It's gonna be
good.
like 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're free,
Sounds good. Follow us on Twitter @_Pickin Winners. Check out our website, pickinwinners.org. And I hope that everybody has a happy, healthy, and safe weekend of gambling.